It's Debatable with Mark Gray here on MLBBro.com.
It's a special edition of Debatable, boys and girls, and instead of debating, deliberating, and pontificating on all things Black baseball related, we're going to salute an anniversary that came through last week with my good friend Manny Ramirez Brown, for those of you who keep score of stuff like that. Man, 50 years ago, last week, the Pirates fielded the first all Black and brown lineup. And keeping with the tradition of the visitors getting the first at bat, you pick the first position, you pick the leadoff hitter.
Center field is the position I'm going to go with, and my leadoff hitter is going to be Starling Marte.
I'm going to go all time, and I'm going to have to rock. And this was really tough. Ricky Henderson. Go with Ricky Henderson leading off in center field for me. Coming up in my two-hole, he was the captain of the Yankees for 20 years. He won 5 World Series championships. He was the dean of a great era in Yankee history. Got to go with Derek Jeter, shortstop, bro.
I feel it. I can't knock it. You know what I mean? That's an obvious pick. So yeah, good salute to you. My 3-hole hitter and position will be good one. I'm gonna go with a couple names. You know what? You welcomed me in as Man Ram. I'm gonna salute Man Ram, man. Left field, Manny Ramirez batting third.
All right, I have no problem with that. Prolific, run-producing team. We're building a lineup for the ages. Yes, it's going to be sick. In the cleanup spot, I got to roll with Eddie Murray, man. People forget about how great he was from both sides of the plate. What was it, 538 home runs? He hit from both sides of the plate a home run in 11 games all time. Hey, Eddie's that dude. He gets the spot at first base for me.
Fabulous pickup. My position is going to be left field. I'm going to have my outfield set, and I'm going to go with the man that should be in the Hall of Fame, but it's a travesty that he's not, Albert Bell. That man had a 10-year run that was unmatched, and if it wasn't for injuries and moody behavior, he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now. So Albert Bell, one of the best right-handed feared sluggers. I mean, he had a season where he had 50 home runs and 50 doubles. Enough said, Albert Bell.
I'm going to keep it in the outfield at the 6th hole. This guy is in the Hall of Fame. We probably still don't know how great he would have been had he not been buried in Montreal for all those years on a horrific turf that tore up his knees. Andre the Hawk Dawson, and the fact that he's one of the HBCU finalists from Florida A&M.
My position is going to be catcher, and I'm going to pick the underrated, probably a guy that was more criminally underrated and robbed of the peak of his powers just because of the culture and the world that we lived in at the time. Mr. Josh Gibson. He's going to be my catcher. Okay. And salute to him. Salute to all the Negro Leagues, man. Well deserved. And
why can't I have Satchel Paige as the ace of the staff?
Not mad at it.
40s, he was on a contributing team to a World Series title, the lone one that Cleveland has ever won. So how about that battery for all time? Satchel to Josh and the 7th game of the World Series. Advantage our team.
If we throwing in great pitchers, I'm gonna keep it to my Caribbean people here. Pedro Martinez, the best pitcher I've ever seen, personally. Listen, Pedro's stats go. It's without saying. Everybody knows Pedro is one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, that 99 and 2000 seasons, those seasons, that run of dominance that he had in the late 90s and early 2000s is some of the greatest baseball pitched ever, especially when you consider the era that he was in. It's Pedro Martinez all the way for me.
Number 3 starter in the great Black and brown pitching rotation for me, Vida Blue. I mean, let's go back to his 1971 season, bro. I mean, he won 24 games. He had 24 complete games. And, I mean, we forget the greatness of just how bad that man was. and truly underappreciated, man. I think you can make an argument that he should be in the Hall himself.
I'm going to round out our rotation with our fourth starter. In the news recently for a great documentary that was done on the 86 Mets. How about my man, Doc Gooden? From 84 to 86, just as talented as any pitcher we've ever seen. I mean, his 85 season is still stuff of legend. So I'm going to go with Doc Gooden, man.
Every team needs a manager. I'm going to pick the greatest black manager of all time for, breaking the ground that everybody walks through and, the footsteps, if you will, Frank Robinson. I mean,
can't be mad at that. Yep. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Frank, man. Big Frank, RIP Big Frank. He broke ground.
So instead of debatable this week, boys and girls, it was detente. But remember, it's been a half decade since the Pirates integrated between the white lines, and on Debatable, we had to get their brothers their due. For my man, Manny Ramirez Brown, I'm Mark Gray. It's been Debatable. And once again, as always, if you leave that weak stuff out over the plate, we're going to take you deep. Deuces.
MLBBro.com, covering black and brown major league.